Namaskar. My name is Ujjwal Bikram Thapa. It is so difficult to tell people why I do what I do. It's an amazing journey that I've had in my life, trying to be help to the helpless, hope to the hopeless, and a warrior for those who are fighting for changes in laws and seeking justice in this country. I call myself a human ambulance, someone who's always ready to reach out when you get a distress call. It's been a phenomenal journey for a very, very long time now. I never wanted to come out in the media, never wanted people to know what I do. My life in this field of service started when I was just about 14, 15 years old. My father had given me money to pay the electricity bill, and I happened to cross Beer Hospital, a government hospital, where I saw a mother crying with a child in her hand. I gave the money to her rather than paying the electricity bill. When I went home and told my father what exactly happened, he was angry for a while, but when he heard the whole story, he didn't say anything to me. So I realized, if you actually go out and help people, your parents don't complain. My life turned around again in the same hospital, February 22nd, 2015, when I met this girl called Sangeeta Magar and another girl called Seema Basnet at Beer Hospital. They were attacked with acid. And when I saw that face, I just could not get over it. It was so painful and so horrific. I didn't know what to do. When I found out that a man had actually done this heinous crime, I was ashamed of being a man for a while. Having 3 daughters at home, a beautiful wife, a mother, surrounded by women all the time, I just could not believe a man could be as inhuman as whoever this criminal was. And then I reached out to them. I reached out to the helpless parents. And my fight to get justice and my fight to make a law in Nepal regarding the most heinous crime, acid attack, continued from then on, single-handedly for a very, very long time, till more and more people joined in, and the voice was loud enough for the government to hear it. Very recently, the government of Nepal passed 3 laws. One, which was the most important part, is the restriction of sale of acid and other corrosive material in Nepal. 2 is the imprisonment part, where the criminal would get between 3 to 8 years initially. Now it has been increased from 5 years to 20 years for acid attack and up to 25 years, which is life imprisonment, if any acid victim or survivor dies within a year of the acid attack due to the crime. On the social side, all these kids belong to very, very nominal families. So for them, education and employment and healthcare was a nightmare. The government of Nepal now provides complete medical help to any of the survivors lifelong for the damages done by acid. Most of them are now employed with either the private sector or government entities. They have a reason to come out of their homes. And for the first time in last 6-7 months, there has been no acid attack in Nepal. I'm sure that the laws, and of course, there are issues where we need to still fight on to get more people aware of the crime and aware of the laws that are in place. The fight continues. Apart from acid, I always have this feeling that one of the most painful things a human being can ever go through is to be burnt alive. Unluckily for a place like Nepal, there are very few burn hospitals. Actually, there's just 3 of them that are functional, and all 3 are in Kathmandu. So when people get burnt in villages, it is a tremendously painful journey to Kathmandu, and if they come here alive, the treatment starts for the first time. basic first aid treatment at villages is also very, very unheard of. There are crimes that happens. People throw kerosene at their wives and set them on fire for dowry. There are other issues. Now there are issues related to social media, jealousy factor, and so many things that people get burnt alive. It is a fight that continues. Poor people get burnt because most of them have open stove cooking at home. You know why no one notices burns? Is because no one cares a damn about the poor. Affluent families and well-off families usually do not have burn cases because we've got sophisticated cooking equipments and we've got other facilities. When someone gets burnt, you cannot imagine that feeling. I have gone through that for decades. I've seen people with wounds that you cannot explain in words. I can feel their pain. I can feel their agony. On top of that, I can feel their helplessness. Person like me keeps fighting and raising voice against the healthcare system in our nation. The reason being is we do not have a healthcare system. When you go on trying to be around these people, when you visit hospitals, when you visit their homes, when you visit first aid centers, you feel so privileged. I carry the best phone in the world because I'm around people who are unfortunate than me. I wear the best clothes because I am actually around very, very unfortunate people who are semi-dressed most of the times. When I come back home, I realize how lucky I am to be who I am. So it is a journey that my friends, my families, everyone has supported me all along. It is a journey that provides hope, a journey that provides little bit of compassion, a little bit of empathy, and a lot of self-satisfaction. When people talk to me about COVID, I actually have a very different version to this thing. In Nepal, every disease is a pandemic for a poor person, whether it be heart ailment, lung ailment, a broken bone, appendicitis, complication in pregnancy. For them, every physical ailment or medical ailment is a calamity. When COVID struck us, when all of us, the affluent, the educated, started running around hospitals, very, very insecure that if someone of mine got ill, would I find a bed? Would I find oxygen cylinders? Would I find a bed at a hospital? I felt for the first time that the whole nation, or should I say the whole world, felt like what a poor man in Nepal always feels like, helpless. There is no one he can turn to. It is so difficult for one person to handle everything. But then, as I went on, the number of people who helped me grew, and we've managed to save a lot of lives. I wish we could do more, but then whatever we do it with our heart, and we've saved a number of lives. I call myself a counselor. I call myself sometimes very, very abusive when I see people give up hope. In COVID, I heard everyone telling each other, hope is the best medicine. Well, it's not just in COVID. For a poor man, hope is a medicine for all his pains. If we still do not realize that our system needs to change, that our healthcare needs to change, all the money you have in the world, all the medical insurance in the world did not work for COVID. You know why? Because the numbers were tremendous. Reach out to these people. We talk about social responsibility clause. Healthcare should be the number one priority of every social responsibility of every corporate giant that is in this nation. It is a journey that needs to be completed. It is a journey of empathy. It is a journey of service. Just remember those few seconds every time you heard of the word COVID, every time you went for a test, every time someone close to you got tested positive. Don't forget that feeling of anxiety. Don't forget that feeling of helplessness. because that is what a poor man in Nepal feels all the time. And that is where we come into the picture, to give them hope, to tell them, to hold their hand and say, you're not alone. There is someone. And it has saved a lot of life, because helplessness is the biggest killer in this nation. And I think all of us, if we call ourselves educated, if we call ourselves affluent, if we call ourselves aware, please reach out. There is a lot, many of us can do. A small amount from many of us can save numerous amounts of lives in this country. Whether it is acid attack, whether it is burns, whether it is pregnancy complication, whether it is heart ailment. It is the same for every human being, because in my life, I believe in one thing. The pain and agony of ailment, the pain and agony of a disease is exactly the same for every human being. And if things get worse, and if we feel helpless, it gets worse. I think for the first time, humanity across the globe has realized that when the sheer numbers go up for any disease, it becomes a nightmare. We're going through one nightmare. But within these nightmares, we are working day and night to save lives of many burn victims who are in different hospitals in Kathmandu. I'm a human being. I'm scared of my life. I'm scared of getting infected. But then I always assure my family one thing. I might or might not die if I get COVID. But if I do not reach the hospital in time, these poor kids and these poor women who come in with tremendous burn cases will be dead for sure. It is a big challenge for all of us. But if we all unite together, such challenges can overcome. Acid attack, burning someone for dowry, burning someone for jealousy, burning someone for any goddamn reason is one of the most heinous crimes that can ever happen in the world. And we must, and we Nepalese have managed to raise our voice loud enough that the government noticed it. But I still continue the fight, saying it is not just acid. Every burn survivor in Nepal must get minimum treatment so we can save their lives. Just because they are poor, just because they do not have a voice, just because they are from far-fetched areas of Nepal, do not overlook them. Because remember one thing, the burn might not represent all of us. COVID did, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're educated, whether you're affluent. The anxiety was the same for everyone. And I can assure you one thing, with my experience, the most painful thing a human being can ever go through is the feeling of being dead. It is the most painful feeling. And when you are helpless, when you feel there is nothing you can do to save yourself, it is the worst thing a human being can go through. Let me tell you one thing. Life and death, I've seen it very, very closely. You cannot prepone your death by thinking. Neither can you postpone your death by thinking. But if you think right, you can postpone and you can prevent death of many, many innocent human beings just because they don't have the money, they don't have the resources. I hope my message to the world is loud and clear. It is about empathy. It is about one human being equal to another human as far as healthcare is concerned. There is no certainty to life, there is no certainty to death. But the certainty of pain for being helpless is for sure. We all must come together and fight this helplessness that every individual goes through in this nation. I hope my message would create more awareness. It is not just you, it is not just me. It is all of us who has the right to live and live a healthy and a safe life in this nation and across the globe. Please reach out and help people at their times of needs. Your money, you can earn it back, but a lost life cannot come back. If your money can save a life, please go ahead and help someone. Thank you so much.